Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews. It's Gaming Friday. I'm Gary.
And I'm a fracking Cylon.
And today we're taking a look at Battlestar Galactica, which came out in 2003, developed by Warthog Games, and published by Vivendi Games and Sierra Entertainment. It was available on the PlayStation 2 and on the Xbox original. And right now we're playing it through backwards compatibility on the Xbox 360.
Yep.
Now, Warthog Games, interestingly, is an English studio based up in Stockport.
Nice.
And they worked on such games as Star Trek Invasion back in 2000.
Nice.
They did Robot Wars Extreme Destruction in 2002, which was abysmal.
Yeah.
I hated it. I was a big fan of Robot Wars, robots smashing other robots. Customize your own robot, but it fell short.
Yeah.
And then they closed out pretty much with Animaniacs. They made a couple of Animaniacs games at the end of 2005.
Yeah.
And then Warthog Games were no more. They eventually became Embryonic Studios,
Okay.
and then they got closed down, and then they became TT Fusion, and they have been responsible for every single Lego game that has come out.
Really?
Yes, they've been
Nice.
developing or co-creating or co-developing in part all the Lego games. So at least somehow, somewhere, they're still around, and they're still working on licensed games.
Redeem themselves.
Redeem themselves somehow. And so interestingly, this game came out, I said, in 2003, which was the same year as the Battlestar Galactica reboot. The miniseries came out. Season 1 started, I think, in 2004.
Yeah.
Now, I was a fan of the original show from 1978 to 79, which
Yeah.
only had one season, 21 episodes, but it was great. It was fantastic. And then when the reboot came out, a lot of people were very critical of it. I think it went around as being Battlestar Galactica in name only.
Right, yeah.
Was what a lot of people were calling it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I think, were pissed off at the recasting of Starbuck from a male to a female. And I'm like,
yeah.
but you know what? Starbuck is a call sign.
Yes.
It's not the actual character's name. And I really liked the Cara Thrace character. And
Yeah.
if I'm a fan of the original show, I'm a huge fan of the reimagined series.
Yeah. We are. We bought the board games. We played that for fucking 2.5 years or so much.
We're still playing the
We're
Battlestar
still playing
Galactica
it
board
now,
game. And so, the end of the 70s was huge for sci-fi. This came out, Battlestar Galactica, the original pilot or the miniseries, was sort of a response to Star Wars.
Yeah.
And, Alien was also right around this time, and classics like Logan's Run. It was just a big launch pad for sci-fi in a big way, especially considering we're seeing Alien still today.
Yeah.
Less said about that, the
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Star Wars is back, and Battlestar Galactica has had its resurgence, and it's still, people are questioning, when is the Battlestar Galactica movie going to happen?
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams was attached to it for a while. It was going to be, another reimagined series. Was it going to be a theatrical film?
Yeah.
I always think Battlestar Galactica's pilot always belongs on the big screen, just like the original. And
Yeah.
then the series,
Yeah.
take it as what it is. But as long as it has that huge budgeted opening, which just sets the stage for everything that's to come.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. So this game is taking place 40 years before the events of the original series.
Right. Okay. So
Where-
before the colonies have been destroyed.
Before the colonies have been destroyed, this is sort of the first Cylon War.
Okay. Yeah.
And you play a very young Adama before you get assigned to the Galactica,
Yeah.
which it's kind of like that prequel series which never came to fruition of Blood and Chrome.
Yes,
where
yeah.
you would follow a young Adama before he gets assigned to the Galactica, and that was a TV series pilot that unfortunately got cancelled, which had a lot of promise.
Yeah.
It could have been something special, but unfortunately it wasn't. And so this game, it kind of echoes that Blood and Mirror
Blood and Chrome,
storyline.
yeah.
Blood and Chrome as a story. Yeah. Now, amazingly, they got some great voice actors to come into this game as well. You might recognize the name Dirk Benedict,
Yeah.
the
yeah.
original Starbuck. The late great Richard Hatch.
Richard
I
Hatch,
was going
yeah.
to say, guess who he played? Apollo. Oops, just eat my own words. And he was great. I love Richard Hatch. You know, his performance as Apollo in the original series, him in the reboot series, he was the one that was turning to fans and just saying, hey, look, you know, this reimagined series is worth your time.
Yeah.
I played Apollo, you know, great. I'd love to be another pilot, but I'm too old now, so now I'm going to play this Shades of Grey sort of character. Am I good? Am I a villain?
Tom Zarek, yeah.
Tom Zarek is just brilliant. And yeah, Richard Hatch just added some more credibility to the reimagined show as well. And he lends his voice to this as well. And then outside of Battlestar canon voice actors, we have Christina Loken, the Terminatrix herself.
Oh, really?
Lending her voice to this game as well. Now, this game is very simplistic. Obviously, graphically, it's looking a little bit old now.
Yeah.
And gameplay-wise, it's very simplistic. You've got the controller right now, Ian.
I am,
How does it feel?
You know, it's like one of those old school arcade games. You know, you as you can see, I'm just flying a Viper at the moment, and you know, I had a bit of a test play with it, and I was just like, oh, the controls come quite easy. You know, A is to fire. You can see the little blue circle is my blind fire target. That's where the Cylon ship's going to be, so I aim for that. X does my missiles. If I hit, I'm not going to do it at the moment because I'm trying to kill this guy. But if I hit X, hit right trigger twice, I go into boost mode.
Yeah.
But then the advanced stuff comes in. You know, you've got to be able to change your target with the old buttons would be black and white, but it's
the bumpers now,
bumpers
right?
for this one. You know, you've got your barrel rolling, you've got your quick 180 turn like I just did there. You know, so you're like, well, it's very simplistic, but you've got to know how your Viper works because it's non-stop. The Cylons are continuous. You know, I'm supposed to be taking on these comm satellites at the moment, but I'm getting sidetracked by all these raiders that just seem to be constantly spawning.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna aim for this guy over here. But graphically as well, I'm just like, yeah, you know, it's an old game, but I wish I'd played it back when I had the original Xbox. You know, I wish I'd been able to play it back in the day.
I get the feeling that this game came out at the same time as the 360 was already out, and so it may have been overlooked a little bit.
Yeah, but I was very lucky because I remember buying this for your birthday. Like I said,
many years ago.
We were big fans of the reboot, and I just happened to find Battlestar Galactica the game, and I was just like, I'm buying that for Gary for his birthday.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, much appreciated. And I have to say, I played it and enjoyed it, and never got past the second level, Ian. This game is fracking hard.
Yes.
And it's surprising because, as I've said to you, how is the controls? It's pretty simplistic. You fly, you shoot, you avoid incoming fire.
Yeah.
But that's not enough. This game is frustratingly hard. You have the difficulty choice at the beginning, normal or expert. You know? And it's like, how do you want to suffer? Because you are going to suffer when you play this game. It is fun. Granted, the control's easy. It's fun to play. You feel like you're in the Battlestar Galactica universe. You're fighting Cylons. You're protecting the Galactica and the fleet. But the missions vary from attack comm stations to defend Galactica to escort this ship from A to B.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are lots of epic sort of dogfights going on around you, which you can partake in, but will distract you from the actual mission.
Yeah.
And each mission, each scenario is tiered with missions. So it's a case of each level is sort of 4 or 5 missions, one after the other. And if you get to sort of, you know, stage 1, mission 4, and you fail it, restart the whole level.
Yeah.
There's no checkpoints. So that adds to the frustration of the difficulty.
Yeah.
Now, there's another thing which the game developers really tried to implement into the game, and unfortunately I can't really comment on it. But right now you can see that you have Kane and Paulus, is it?
Yeah.
Paulus,
yeah.
as your wingmen. Now, from stage to stage, if your wingmen are shot and killed, if they're vital to the story, game over, mission over, start again.
Yeah.
But if they're not, they're dead, and they will not appear in the next mission.
Wow.
Or the next mission. Or the next mission. And so if you get to the end of the game and all your wingmen are dead, you're flying solo come the end. Now, that's something that they promised was in the game, and unfortunately I've not got far enough within the game to experience that. But if that is true, that's great, because that's what, for me, would bring you into the Battlestar Galactica universe, because, especially with the reimagined show, pilots die all the time, and you feel their losses. You know, the rest of the characters feel their losses when it comes to the next great big space battle, and, you know, their ace pilots are dead already.
Yes.
You know, and I hope that came through in this game. If it does, it's adding to the difficulty yet again, but in a really great way.
See, but that's the thing. I mean, you say, like they said, at the time you were on the 360.
Yes.
You know, and I know you do have a bit of difficulty going back and playing older games, because
unless it was really great, unless if it was truly something special, will I go back and play retro games. If it really meant something to me at the time I'd played it. Granted, this game, like I said, I missed it on its opening release and came to it many years later after you gifted it to me. And yeah, and I spent some time with it and I had fun playing it, but the difficulty was a huge detraction. It took me out of the fun, and I didn't want to not have fun playing Battlestar.
Yeah, but I didn't even realize you can change inside your cockpit. Nice. But isn't it also as well where you know, because you've been playing all these newer games, that it takes part of it away. See, I'm trying.
Definitely, yeah, because when I like space battles, Ian.
Yeah.
You know, and I always feel underwhelmed with space battles in movies. I always just go, I just wish that scene was extended another few minutes. I really wanted to see more spaceships exploding. I wanted to see hull damage, and I wanted to see ships being torn apart. You know, like the Titanic getting split in half. I want to see more spaceships being torn in half, and how the crew sort of manages to escape, or, you know, I just want to see all the little details. You know, and graphics need to be there.
No. See, now that's what we're talking about. I was trying to change all my targeting to cover my wingmen.
Yeah.
And I'm shooting absolutely everything else apart from what I'm supposed to be attacking.
Yeah.
So then you've got to then when you die, you've got to do the whole level again.
Yes.
Which
it's
which
tedious.
is just like, no, really. So then it's just like, right, get back into the controls, but. Then again, you come back, you're just like, I'm just looking at Galactica again, you know, I'm defending Galactica again.
So I'm going to ask you, Ian, what's your favourite Galactica, classic or reimagined?
See, I really love the classic for its nostalgic view, but I own the box set, and I've tried to watch all of the episodes. The problem I have is that it tells you at the start what's going to happen, just like in the new series. But you just know that neither Apollo or Starbuck are going to die, so there's no risk. Every terrible situation they get into, you just know that they're going to get back out of again.
Yeah.
So it kind of loses all that suspense.
What I loved about the classic is Apollo's brother.
Yes.
Being stranded during the first sort of encounter with the Cylons.
He gets left behind and
left behind, and I just love watching on the radar. You know, the blips of the Cylons moving closer and closer and closer until he's gone, and it's just that devastation of that one pilot before all the colonies are just annihilated. Yeah. That really works. The reimagined series, for me, it was the scene when it was like, I think it was like, it was a floating... So it was a spaceship that was like a giant plantation. Yeah. And it was like a great big sky dome. Yeah. And you have I think it was a little girl with a teddy bear. And you just see the white light just... Yeah, that for me was the same moment. They just cemented the end is here for these, the 13 colonies.
Well, that's it. In the old series, it's funny because in the old series, there's a lot of episodes that actually were used then into the new series. Like they come across the Pegasus.
Yes.
And the Pegasus is captained, I think, by Beau Bridges. I think it is.
Right.
And he's playing Commander Kane.
Yeah.
And he's adamant that they need to go into battle with the Cylons.
Yeah.
And Adama then again is like, no, because we have
to protect the fleet,
and stuff like that. And it's really cool because then obviously coming off the back of the new series.
That was some of my favorite drama.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was it. But like you said, with the new series, people would die, you know, and it makes me laugh when people sit there and they go, "Oh yeah, you know, Game of Thrones is like the best series out there." I won't argue that, but before Game of Thrones was killing people off, Battlestar Galactica was doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you at the end of season 1 of the new series, when a big massive moment happens, I won't spoil it.
Yeah,
you know, when a big massive moment happens, you were sat there like, what the fuck? I can't believe they just did that. You know, who does that?
Yeah. Well, that was another thing. Was a lot of people were pissed off about the human Cylons, or Cylons that were wearing meat skins.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and it was just like, you know, and the Centaurians, of course, were massively remodeled for the reboot as well.
But it worked because the old school, you know, you had the old school Centurions turn up in later seasons.
Yeah, which was very cool.
Which was really cool.
And the old school base stars as well.
Yeah. And you had the new Centurions who were just robots.
Yeah.
They were just soldiers.
They still had the iconic red eye.
Yeah, but
laser.
they didn't speak. They didn't think for themselves. They didn't have any tactics. There was just loads of them. They were just off an assembly line. The human Cylons worked really well because
Trisha Helfer.
you couldn't tell who was a Cylon or not. And so then when obviously the big reveal happens in season 3, season 4, that there are members of the crew who have been Cylons this whole time, you sit there like, what? No fucking way. I mean, one of the best moments I always found as well was, I remember we were sat there watching the episodes and you could hear this music playing and I'm like, that sounds like Jimi Hendrix. And you were like, nah, it can't be.
Couldn't be.
It can't be. And then the music keeps building up. And I'm like, that's fucking Jimi Hendrix. That's fucking all along the Watchtower they're saying.
Yeah, it was undeniable, but I was like, but it's not Hendrix, though.
It can be. And then the music kicks in, and I was just like, oh my god, if it's got Jimi Hendrix in, this is the greatest series ever. You know? That's what's missing from Game of Thrones, I think. They need some Jimi Hendrix in it.
What?
Hey, if Jimi Hendrix can be in the future, in the far off corners of the universe, he can fly around with
but
dragons.
it makes sense. It was kind of an evolved civilization, whereas Game of Thrones, you know.
Are they not evolved?
well, it's kind of medieval fantasy.
Can you imagine the White Walkers coming along to Jimi
all along the
Hendrix?
Watchtower?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Hey, isn't that though the wall? Aren't they on the Watchtower?
Yeah, I guess. I'm gonna see a fan edit now of Game of Thrones with Jimi Hendrix. So this is not the only Battlestar Galactica game that's out there. As we said, we mentioned the board game.
Yep.
Now there is the Battlestar Galactica online game,
Yes.
which came out in 2011, and it's a web browser game, which I was just like, get the fuck out of here. A web browser game. And, you know, this just goes to show how much of a fanboy I am for the reboot of the series. I got on there and I logged on and I was just like, my laptop can't really handle a web browser game. Like, what the hell? It was quite sophisticated for what it was. You know, you could join the Cylons or the humans and you build your character up but it ended up going out just shooting down rocks in space for minerals.
Yeah,
and
you had to mine for ages.
you had to mine for ages. The dogfights didn't happen. You very rarely encountered other players. The longevity of the game wasn't there, although I've heard that they keep adding to it, they're still adding to it, they're still evolving it, but it just didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work. I didn't get the space battles, I didn't feel the controls properly, and it failed. And surprisingly, after we'd already sort of decided that Gaming Friday this week would be Battlestar Galactica, because I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. I wanted to go back to a franchise which I still like.
Yeah.
A lot, and surprisingly a trailer just launched yesterday.
Yeah.
For Battlestar Galactica 2017 new game, and I was like, holy shit, there's more Battlestar, great, let's have a look at the trailer. And I'm kind of like, well, this looks graphically, it looks dated already. This doesn't look like a AAA game.
Yeah.
I've not found any information as to what sort of game it is. I don't know if it's a real-time strategy, you know, sort of, you know, build your fleet, build your ships, you know, and explore space and fog of war and everything like that.
Yeah.
Or whether it was going to be a cockpit first-person shooter, essentially. I don't know. Interestingly, again, though, it looks like it's based on a reimagined show again, where it's taking place moments after the human versus human war,
Right.
and then the Cylons sort of turn up because the trailer for the new game shows two battleships firing at each other,
Okay.
and the voice then just says and about the Cylons coming back. So it's like, okay, so it's something new, something borrowed.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah. Well, it can be as bad as Caprica.
Well, no, I don't.
That was the reimagined how the Cylons were born.
Yeah, you
series.
see, if Battlestar Galactica Reimagined had then gone to Blood and Chrome afterwards instead of floundering with Caprica, Blood and Chrome might have had more success.
Yeah.
Because it's what I want from my Battlestar Galactica. I'm not gonna, shy around from it. I want war. I have a blood rage for war in the Galactica universe. I want to see to see it all play out. I want to see I like naval battles as well. I like World War II history naval battles, and so I want to see naval battles in space. I want to see the strategy involved. I want to see how they, how the formations of the Vipers work with the base stars, with the planets, with the Cylons. That's exciting to me, and I want to see the interpersonal dramas of the crew on these ships.
Yeah.
Like Band of Brothers in space is what I want.
But can you beat Edward James Olmos's performances?
Well, no, you never. he is a great Adama, absolutely.
Yeah.
And is it Lauren Green?
Lorne Green, yeah.
who was the original Adama. You can't take anything away from him. He set the role.
Oh yeah, he did, but he wasn't as bloodthirsty as Adama. Adama, he had his moments, but he was in it for the long haul, knowing full well that they would have to kill to survive. Lorne Green was he was kind of trying to be a bit Kirkish. Let's try talking to them first. Yeah, it's not working, right? Well, then we're just gonna have to kill them all then. Oh, okay then. Why didn't we just do that first?
So I'm gonna ask you: have you ever seen Galactica 1980?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I did.
This was the series that
Yes.
came immediately after Battlestar Galactica's cancellation in '79.
Yeah.
Galactica was rebooted in 1980. Of course, it's in the name, 1980.
Yeah.
And it was only 10 episodes. Before that was shit canned too.
Yeah, it didn't work. I remember one episode mainly where, Galactica is turned up in orbit of Earth.
Yeah. And they're de-evolved. It's kind of present day, or it was
It's
1980s.
Yeah,
Earth.
it's 1980s Earth, and so they're coming down to the planet, because obviously they want to settle, but they're unsure about it, and it was just kind of interplaying with the environment. I think Cylons might have come down
Towards the very end, I think they did the last episode, but yeah, it failed.
Yeah,
it
failed.
had none of the drama, none of the suspense.
Give me those. There we go.
A lot of the actors didn't return. I think it only brought back Starbuck and Adama.
Yeah, there wasn't that many.
And then the rest of the
wasn't many
cast were
actors.
replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the scenes on Earth were just tiresome. It was so weak. I'm surprised it got as far as
weak.
it did.
It just lost all of its appeal. I can see what they were trying to do, because obviously they were just trying to do something new, but it didn't have the coolness of the original series. Maybe,
TV series.
Yeah, maybe if you're gonna I got killed again. God damn it! I tried to save him. I really did.
Mission 1, ladies and gentlemen. Mission 1.
This is Mission 1. If you're gonna do it, we've already seen it from Galactica's point of view. Maybe do it from some other battle stars. We know that a lot of the battle stars were destroyed.
All of them bar Pegasus. Yeah.
But yeah, all of them bar Pegasus. But you can rewrite that kind of stuff. It's very easy to rewrite that kind of stuff.
If
to say,
you're going to do Battlestar Galactica and blow up the Galactica in the second episode and follow another ship.
No. Galactica will get away, and this other ship that we presume was destroyed. Maybe it gets left as a wreck. The Cylons leave it alone, but it manages to kind of limp itself off, and they have missions that maybe coincide with what Galactica's doing. Maybe they come across the Ragnarok station after Galactica's left. Maybe they're only a couple of steps behind every now and every few missions. And they catch the after effects, so that you can, as a fan, you sit there going, "Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that's because they've just blown that stuff up." you know, coming across wreckages of other ships, coming across, you know, nuke signatures. They go, whoa, what the hell was that? We need to find out what that was. Oh, it's a residue of a nuke. There's a, you know, evidence of a ship that's been blown up here. Then they're questioning the loyalty of Galactica, you know, coming across other Vipers and other Cylons in skin jobs. You don't want to rehash the same story. You know, yes, I love Galactica, but we've already had it come back twice. Can it really come back a third time for you to get into it and excited about it? Or are you going to be able to easily predict stuff that's going to happen because you've seen it before? You know how it plays out.
Yeah. I don't know whether I'd want another series, but maybe a series of films? Maybe?
Yeah, but then again, like I said, how do you work that?
I'd do three
it from
films. I would do
Galactica?
3 films, a trilogy of films with Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
The first film would be the fall of the colonies
Okay.
and Battlestar sort of escaping with its fleet.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and that's the end of the film. They're launching into space to find a new planet.
Yeah.
Whether it is Earth, you know, if they talk about the 13th colony or the 14th colony and being Earth and the ending there, that's fine, that's great, whichever. And then the second film would be the journey, you know, the getting there, the constant, you know, it would be the darker one almost again, where the fleet's getting destroyed, Galactica's getting punished. Maybe they meet Pegasus and they have a war with the Cylons trying to get somewhere. They lose the Pegasus, you know, they achieve something and then leave it to the third film where they do get to Earth and they have a massive fight with the Cylons at Earth and maybe, you know, and end it there.
See, now that's all right, but that's why the new series works so well, because you were able to take the camera off the focal point.
Yeah.
The failings, like I said, the failings I found with the 1970s show was that the camera just stayed on focus on Starbuck and Apollo all the time. They were the heroes. Nothing bad ever happened to them. In the new series, you know, you had episodes that followed Gator. You know, you had episodes that followed Boltar walking around doing his stuff. You had episodes following the engineer. You know,
Chief Tyrrell, yeah.
You know, the rookie pilots doing it. So you got this grander scale during the series of all these people going through all this turmoil. Putting it in a film, you know, you've got to focus on one person, or it's just going to get confusing.
Well, no, I think you could still have an ensemble cast in the series of films as well. Yeah,
But what I'm saying is
follow the pilots, follow the bridge crew, follow a couple of civilians, maybe. I don't know. You've always got to be wary about the inclusion of civilians in the show because you know they dropped the child actor, you know, role in the reimagined series. Was it Boxy?
Yeah, Boxy. Yeah.
So some things work. I think it changes the era of the release of each Battlestar Galactica really sort of does play up to audience expectations of the time.
Yeah, but that's why like things like Star Wars is doing so well now, because it's taking the focus off the obvious targets, you know, the Skywalkers.
Well, the thing is, the Star Wars,
like
you know, has an infinite possibility of stories, whereas the Battlestar Galactica is one story.
Yeah.
You know, it's the story of the destruction of the colonies to finding a new planet in amongst dealing with Cylons chasing you the whole way. That's it. You know, there's no expanded story outside of that, and we've learned that from Caprica. You know, that those are just not interesting on a grander scale. It's not going to appeal like, you know, a Han Solo prequel story, is it?
Yeah, we've said it like we're Covenant. If you're going to change something completely in the story, it really has to fucking work.
It has to be its own thing,
or we're not going to buy it.
In its own alternate universe, its own reboot, reimagining, whatever. But if you put it into the core universe, like I said, the reimagined series, I loved it. I didn't want it to end. I'm glad it ended in its own terms, but it is complete. That's how it is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's great because, like I said, the original series didn't really get to reach its end. It kind of got cancelled, re-picked up and cancelled again. And I guess Battlestar Galactica's also had the same treatment with Caprica and Blood and Chrome being cancelled. So, and now Galactica not really coming back to the silver screen or the big screen just yet either.
Well, see, at the same time, I don't think it needs it. You know, we're talking about we're talking about a TV series from the 70s that got remade and was absolutely brilliant. I personally think Galactica, the new series, paved the way for violence on TV. You know, no, I'm serious. You know, before Galactica, that nobody ever considered Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, you know, or any shows like that to actually be able to keep people's attention. Killing off main stars? No, we can't do that. We need them to sell merchandise. Bullshit.
Yeah.
People will still buy the fucking merchandise long after that person's dead.
I think Battlestar Galactica Reimagined was good. I don't think it was as impactful as perhaps what you've just said, but for me it definitely elevated the Sci-Fi Channel or the Sci-Fi Channel, whatever they decided to call themselves afterwards.
Yeah.
It definitely made a reason for people to come to their channel to watch Battlestar.
Yeah, well, like I said, it done so well, and plus at the same time, you know, we could have been doing anything on our weekends, and we started playing board games.
Yeah.
We started playing Battlestar Galactica board games, and the amount of stories you have with your friends, you know, the mistrust that can be thrown to the side. You've been friends for years, and then all of a sudden you're looking at them shady on a Saturday night thinking, I'm going to blow you out of an airlock. And they're looking at you like, I'm going to blow you out of an airlock. And that's what I mean, the impact that the show has had. It just changes. Games, yeah, they're all fun. New series, yeah, they're all fun. It will be never as good as what you originally watched.
Yeah.
Unless it's fucking really groundbreaking. But then, you know, the story has to really work.
Yeah.
It really has to work.
So, coming back to Battlestar Galactica 2003 video game.
Yes.
I only recommend this game to die-hard fans, and if you can get this on a micro budget, you know, a few dollars in a second-hand store, or if you see it in a charity shop somewhere,
Yeah.
pick it up for the nostalgia. You know, because when you load the game up and it plays the classic Battlestar Galactica piece of music, which is just up there as one of the greatest orchestral pieces of music that you just, as soon as you hear it, you know exactly what it is. That for me was worth, you know, just loading up this game, you know, playing it, hearing the authentic sounds of the lasers and the Cylon saying by your command. You know, it's just brilliant, just brilliant. But it's not a great game. It's fucking hard as hell. You know, I think there's like up to 15 missions, but good luck ever getting to the end. You know, persevere with the game by all means, and you'll get to see that this game has some really good voice acting. Well, I say really good. It has competent voice acting by the stars of the show, and the cinematics in the game, because I have seen them, they're okay. You know, for this generation of console, it was okay. Unfortunately, they look really washed out, the visuals in the cutscenes, but you get the idea of it, and it's enough to put you into the universe. So yeah, only get this on a budget, and if you're a die-hard fan of Battlestar Galactica, young and old.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the same thing. It's fucking hard. You know, it's fucking hard. I don't even know if I'm going to get past this bit again.
Probably not.
No. See, I've lost the target already. I had the target on. Oh, there it is. You know, it's hard, but yeah, like Gary said, persevere with it. You know, if you're a Battlestar Galactica fan, you know, you will just keep playing it, keep going back and doing the level. If they had the checkpoints, if you were able to save it, that would be great. But you don't, so when you die, you have to start all over again, which really, really sucks. But you know, how many games do we do that with already? You know, you die, you go back, you do it all over again, and you learn.
You have to get better.
You have to get better. You know, you'll get better with the skills of the ship, working out how to fucking kill Cylons. This guy won't die. There he is. You know, and just learn more of the advanced controls, because that's it. You know, it's got very basic controls, but then you've got the advanced. Ah!
Well, that's going to be it from us here this week on Off the Shelf Reviews. We'll be back next Friday with another video game. Of course, film reviews on Thursdays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.
Peace.